This is a late night for me, latest recording I have done, but I'm trying a new setup and I definitely want to get this message out on a promptu fashion. I got to give my disclaimer, especially this podcast. So listen to this podcast. I ask that you keep an open mind, and you prepare yourself because you might shift so many perspectives, but have an open mind. Try to step away from the judgments and try to understand why was a brother like myself see things this way. Can you analyze and see exactly what is making me perceive reality and try to understand opposed to just automatically judging without taking a moment to connect. So let's begin. The world today, a lot of chaos, but I always say the chaotic harmony. From this destruction comes the beauty that some of us may have difficulty seeing. But we got the NFL protests. That's been going on for a long time. Colin Kaepernick, all of Donald Trump jumping in, and just this issue of disrespecting the flag. But this is a far deeper than that. And now Fox is blacking out all of the national anthems for the rest of the season. So that's just a mind. Take an energy. There's some attack on the Spain voters. This is pretty serious. I'm not too into the politics that go on global scale, but I did notice the energy of the police force actually beating on their own people. And I always question and think, what allows one to see such a separation to attack people? These probably the family, the members, but like, how can they create an individual to live from this kind of energy? And next, the disaster in Puerto Rico, man. I spent a whole night just reflecting and realizing what would it be like to be in that position. And my heart got drained. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even experiencing what they're going through. And it makes me realize, like, I'm thankful to be where I'm currently at right now, but recognizing, man, that a part of our earth, our being, ourself is suffering. And lastly, the icing on the cake is the shooting in Las Vegas. And that's going to be more so my focus for today. But when you see all of these events on a global scale, if we look at the world as a human being, how would this individual look like? And this was someone that'd be hurting, someone that's really confused, that's been through lots of trauma and have not healed from all the things that has happened to it in its many lives or just this lifetime. Because when you understand the nature of anyone who's experienced extreme amount of trauma, their behaviors, their mannerisms are not fully connected to the greater well-being, but it's just to do whatever it is to survive. And this is a topic that I could definitely go a lot deeper in. But the collective consciousness, what we have going on this world today, is only a reflection of what is going on within ourselves at an individual level. I'm going to get into that more. But my goal for today is to really look at this situation from a holistic level, not just seeing from what the media is presenting to you, what you're seeing on social media, not what's getting given to you by the corporate, military, and government sponsored media, but really getting this thing from analyzing it from all those perspectives and begin to put the pieces together to see clearly from your own discernment, from your own understanding, what exactly is happening. Because I can never tell you what is happening. This is something that you must begin to critically divulge into on your own. Have that free thought. Allow your feeling nature to guide you to get a clear perspective of what is taking place in our society, okay? So this is really the most important aspect, is providing a conscious conversation on finding a solution, realizing that at the deepest level, nothing ever is good or bad. As tragic as it may be, as great as it may be, each experience is giving us a lesson that we need to learn, for we can grow, we can evolve, but more importantly, heal our wounds to experience the totality of our being. It's easy to get caught up in the conspiracy. It's easy to start pointing fingers at so-and-so, let's create this law. But the reality is, the most difficult thing is to focus on what it is we need to rise above. As you see that this is something that is the least talked about from a holistic approach, from a connective perspective, but more so certain few people have the power to direct exactly what the solution should be. So let's go. Let's go into Las Vegas, man. Let's break down briefly the official story. This is official meaning by the mainstream news, CNN, all the major outlets. This is where I gathered this information from. On October 2nd, 2017 at 10:05 p.m., Stephen Paddock opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, killing to this date 58 people and wounding 500. This is considered the greatest massacre in American history. I guess they don't consider the poison from foods the greatest massacre, or the toxins from all the things that we are consuming in our medicine, but that's a whole nother topic. The official story is that this man is 64 years old. He carried up 400 pounds of equipment up 30 floors. They also stated that this man disarmed fire alarms and hotel security systems. Have you ever seen the movie Ocean's 11 and just broke down the intricacies of what they had to do to just shut down a casino or a bank? It will blow your mind to think an individual of one person has this ability. He had total 23 weapons, semi-automatic rifles, scopes, hundreds of rounds of ammo, and apparently he has no motive, no mental health issues. And I always say we got to think logically about that, because for someone to do this act, it has to stem from a root. There's always a cause to the effect. So the ones that say there's no motive, it's not clearly painting a picture for us. So we have to be able to discover and understand the deeper weaving of webs of the situation. I say either mind controlled or this man is severely traumatized internally. And the last thing that blows my mind, which is intriguing, he has absolutely no military training and was by himself. This is what the media says. And I'll let you just take a moment to critically think on the reality of a 64-year-old man carrying up 400 pounds, 30 floors, and not having any issue in setting up a military style attack with absolutely no military training. So that's just what the media says. I got to give you a quick history, because in order to understand the nature of any individual, you have to see their character from the inception of their being, or close to what you could go back to, what you can discover. Now, here's a quote from a brother named Walter Lippmann. He is one of the founding fathers of the Council of Foreign Relations, which is one of the pretty much main entities that bridge corporations and governments to maintain control of a lot of things that take place. He was a reporter, a political commentator, and he coined the term stereotype, just giving you an idea of who this man was. This is from his writing that ran a Pulitzer Prize in 1922. He stated that mass media and propaganda are therefore tools that must be used by the elite to rule the public without physical coercion. One important concept presented by Lippmann is the manufacture of consent, which is, in short, the manipulation of public opinion to accept the elite's agenda. It is Lippmann's opinion that the general public is not qualified to reason and to decide on important issues. It is therefore important for the elite to decide for its own good, then sell those decisions to the masses. So, we have a problem. The solution has already been created. This goes back to 9/11. This goes back to the war on drugs and the war on terror. And this is just a character, the nature. So this is someone that's being stated in 1922 about the use of the media. What do you think is happening today? Back then, the media was a lot more disseminated, owned by many corporations and businesses. Today, the media is owned by 5 corporations. That means every newspaper, every magazine, every TV show, every news station is conglomerated into 5 corporations. So think about that. They have close ties to the world's elite, because who owns these people? Who have money. So you can look this up online, look at the deeper connection of all the major media groups, but this is something that's very interesting. This gives them the power to control exactly what is being impressed upon our subconscious and conscious mind. Now, I'm not saying this is a good thing or a bad thing. It all depends on who is controlling this vehicle. And when you understand the nature of these people, mind you, they slaughtered Christians, they mutilated slaves in Africa, they destroyed the Native Americans, oppressed black people for another 100 years, and they are still in power to this day, hiding in different masks. I am not trying to point fingers, but this is the nature of the character of individuals. We have to remember who we are dealing with. They have the power to create in the minds of a people a single idea, creating a standardization of thought. So, when you look at the media, when you begin to see not just the story, but who owns who is creating the story, it paints a clearer picture, gives you an idea to really gain perspective on what are these people thinking and what might motives or intentions they may have. Because when this is not shown to the public, it can skew exactly how you digest the information. So pardon my digression, but that was very important. And I'm saying you all this because maybe they're not telling us the story exactly what it seems. And it's time that we think critically and see things from all perspectives, And I'm not trying to get into a conspiracy heist. I'm not trying to get into that angle, but it's good that we see things from all angles. So I told you the official story.